Welcome everyone to a global leader class on the fly today. Because of all sorts of tech issues, we are still going to have a class with all the in-person students who are here. As you can see, there they all are, and you're going to see them shortly. Let me set up the camera well here so we can do this. And the reason we are having the class like this right now is because of all sorts of technical issues, somewhat related to the strike and some related to other things. So let me just explain to everybody what we're going to do, and with the microphone, we'll leave it here for now. Okay, so what I'll do is, for the moment, I'm going to do this, okay, and I'll move this around. Let me bring this here so I can talk to everybody as well as all of you. And great. Okay, so uh, as there we go. Okay, so this is a class like we've been having from my sunroom, except I'm not in my sunroom right now. I'm in the global classroom, and I'm recording the 5th class of the semester like this with all the students who are here in person. And let me just explain what we're going to do today, and then we will carry on with our normal class, do on board, get the names of everybody here. And I have a very important global leader to talk to you about today. So I had a lot ready, but I can still deliver it like this. And I'll just make sure that's working. The tech is great. So, as always, everybody, thank you for your patience in dealing with this turbulent semester that we've been having with the strike and all sorts of other issues. And I'm thrilled to be back in person with all of you. And I hope we can continue this every week until the end of the semester in person, as always. And next week, hopefully, we will have the tech working better. The idea, before we begin today, and I tell you about, excuse me, I'm a little bit under the weather. Before I tell you about today's class, I just want to remind you about something around global leadership. One of the things that we are doing this semester that is so important is we're exploring qualities or attributes of global leaders. And we pick our leaders, we voted on them, but also I will bring you important global leaders too that I think you need to know about, who may not have been ones we voted for. So Bob Marley is very much a part of this semester's sort of pantheon, if you will, of global leaders. But today I'm going to be introducing you to somebody who is vital to know about when it comes to global leadership. And each week, as we move through the rest of the semester, guests will be coming in. We're getting that set up. But you can think about each week as being a kind of case study or two of different global leaders. But before I tell you about today's global leader, I want to remind you that I myself, as I teach this class, think of myself as a bit of an example of leadership for all of you. When you come into this room, it's a room that is new and leading in education. The way I have put this together, the way I teach you, I think is demonstrating some leadership, real leadership. And then ultimately, it's how I deal with the classes themselves when problems arise. So when problems come up as they do today, look at how I am dealing with adapting to different situations. You are watching me, the duck on the pond right now, gliding nicely at the surface. Everything is like a swan, but underneath my legs are working like this, really hard. You can't see that. Well, any problem that comes up in this class, from a technical one or otherwise, I'm going to bring back in as a learning example for all of you. So today it's a technical dog's breakfast. I don't need to go into it. But I found a workaround. That's what you do as a leader always, is when you're in situations, guaranteed when you are leading something, and you will see this in the examples that I bring to the class over the next weeks, and I'm sure it's in Bob Marley's life too, you have to adapt and work around problems. You will always have problems. So, in a way, the news I'm giving you right now, before we start, is something you may not want to hear, which is, we all aspire to a life of no problems, don't we? The truth is, in leadership, it's constant problems. And you eventually get used to solving them, and you develop a way to deal with them. So that's what I'm doing right now. You're watching me solve a problem, find a workaround, a solution. We can move forwards. I'm not losing my cool. I'm having fun with this, and we can carry on, okay? So, excellent. I will turn the camera around for all of you online later for the recording to see everybody. But first, I just want to make sure that we're on track with everything else. So I'm happy to inform all of the students online later that right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 students in person, which is fabulous. I believe 1 or 2 of them may just be joining us as guests right now, I see, but that's good too. This is the global class, and we're always open to having people come in. I think of this as a bit like a train station. You know, things are moving through, people are coming through, and they come and they join the class, and then they move off, and they take the train, or somewhere else they go. So, first, how are we going to do on board today? Well, since we are kind of applying this idea of max flex, the military tactic in at least medicine, which is you're always adapting to any kind of crisis, that board I have not checked, but it looks like it's working. Somebody needs to go over to the smart board. We will be able to save that, rub that off with their hand, and write all the names of the students down there. So let's first do that. We're going to get our on board going. So it is Sasha. Sasha, great. So Sasha, I can give you something here, a pen.
However, in all honesty, like as embarrassing as this is for me,
Why would it be embarrassing for you?
if you ask me to do the notes, which I have no problem doing, I have a lot of trouble with spelling.
Okay, well, we will help you through that. Take that pen. Watch Sasha. Everybody, Sasha's going over to the board, and she's going to get our on-board list of online participants right now. All you have to do is just take your palm of your hand. You can take your palm, and you can write, yep, absolutely, okay? So, I think that to help Sasha, we're going to do this kind of collaboratively. First, write down on board today, okay? On board today. So Sasha is writing, and we're going to do this sort of handheld camera. You know, we're going to move around like this. This will be fun. It's like when I was in television back in my documentary days, okay? So I'm going to be the camera person while we're doing this, okay? And Sasha has written on board. Now, no, you just put a little line underneath that, okay? And in a moment, all of you are going to stand up and go write your names there. So it will go more smoothly, and she won't have to worry too much about spelling. However, Sasha, could you put number 1, the most important student right now is you, Sasha Wilkinson. I hope you can spell your name correctly. If you can't, we got a real problem, okay? We got a real problem. All right, so Sasha's writing. And then under that, number 2, put my name, Lon Appleby, L-O-N. Good. Okay, and get ready to get up. Everybody is going to be writing this down. So number 2 is Lon, L-O-N-A-P-P-L-E-B-Y. L-E-B-Y. You got it. L-E-B-Y. Here comes the close-up. Yeah. That's nice.
Thank you.
Very good. So now, could you all please line up and go ahead and write your names and make it a little bit easier for Sasha while I talk to the students here. So we are really doing this class today on the fly. Number 3, just go ahead and write your names, and I will find a way to set this up properly so I don't have to be carrying this around, but it will be something like this. And everything is being recorded, all good. So I'm trying to find right now the place to put the camera. And as you can see, all of our wonderful onboard participants right now are lined up and they are ready to put their names on board. They're joining the journey of the global class as we navigate through so much turbulence today. But we can handle it. Okay, so there goes Sasha, Lon, Kirsten, who's done some good notes. Kirsten did the notes 2 weeks ago, I believe. Yeah, that's great. Okay. Are you able to, would you be able to do something? Okay, so you get your 5, okay, automatically. And we have all the names being put. When you're finished, just grab your seats, get back to your seats, and we're going to start the class shortly. I want to tell you all, as we do our on board, that today we are going to be looking at a outstanding global leader, somebody who you probably have heard his name, but you don't know much about him. So I'm going to be telling you all about that. But first, let's make sure that we get this done properly, on board. We're still in a strike situation at the college, as you know, but I'm finding a way to be here on. Yes, I do, actually. Kirsten has just asked if I have an update. I'm going to wait until everybody's back, and then I'll explain, okay? And my apologies to the students who had joined for the synchronous online class in our video conference system. This will have to suffice today, the recording. And as you know, you will have a question to do after this, as well as a reason for the question on the discussion board. All of that will be the same. Okay, but I want to make sure that you stay with this recording all the way to the end, because we're going to be delving into the life and work of a very important global leader today. So hold on, and I think I will leave this here for now. But if I can find a way to, yeah, I think that will be okay. What I've done in the past sometimes is I've put the camera down here. Okay, so we're just going to find a good position for everything so you can hear me and see me, but at the same time, I can engage with everybody else. Okay? Good. And probably it's better to do it up here. Yeah. Okay, so I just don't want this to fall, but I think we'll be okay. That works. Okay? And I will stay relatively close, so you will be able to hear me from here. Or if I move around, and I'll keep, yes, could you please shut the door? I'm not going to touch that. That's a bit risky right now. It may fall, but I'm not going to do anything to disturb it. So while, yes, yeah, you can do it the other way. And I'll shut this down completely because that's just not going to work. So, sometimes you will find in this world of adaptability, max flex, and thinking and doing on your toes, off your feet, that things work out better in the end. Because we spend so much time trying to make tech a big part of our lives, but the ultimate, most important thing is that the tech serves us and we can have great interaction together. That's what we're going to have. So, good. The doors are closed. This is what's being recorded. All of that tech is working. And go down to the bottom. Yeah, you see the little 3 lines at the bottom in the corner? put your finger on that. You see the little lines there next to the G?
The G.
Yeah, and then just sort of pull. That's right, great. And you can rub that off with your hand. So it's all working. We're actually still doing our class as I had planned it. Okay. So I want to jump into this because we are conscious of time right now. It's 10:30 and I have critical information to give you about somebody today. I was hoping that I would have all of the imagery and videos up there. I can't. It doesn't matter. You won't see this person. I'm going to tell you about this person. You can go online later and you can get lots of information about this person. I'm going to start, okay, with the critical content of today's class. And that is that we want to start thinking about global leaders in a much more detailed, I would say even disciplined way, in the sense that when we choose a global leader, we're not going to just be choosing somebody of influence who has impact, as we had with Bob Marley, and we voted on him, and we had many other examples, but also somebody who is changing the world in ways that we can say really are for the better. And Bob Marley is a good example of that, but the person you're going to meet today is much more important in terms of his impact on humanity.
Is he famous?
Huge, yes.
Like, is he coming here?
No.
Oh.
Maybe we will invite him after today's class and see. And I am open to the idea of writing him a letter. He is still alive, but his name is preceded by Sir. He's British. And that might begin to tell you something. He has been knighted by the Queen for his service. What's that? Way to go. Way to go. Is this, which student is from Rwanda? Are you? Yeah, very good. What's your name again? Emmanuel. Excellent. Nice to see you in the class. There are a lot of students that I'm starting to become familiar with, but he in particular has had some very important things to tell us about a person in Rwanda named Paul Kagame, a leader. He's not our global leader for today. I'm going to preface this by telling you that in part this has been inspired because of what a student posted for their fourth discussion post. And that student is Ali, W-A-I-G-H. Is he here? W-A-I-G-H, Ali something, I don't have the pronunciation correctly. But he said something very important in his discussion post that I liked. And I was planning to get there in this semester, but I'm going to do it a little bit more quickly now in terms of what he said. He said that we're being too lenient in how we choose a global leader. That we need to think about the people who have really demonstrated things like accountability, responsibility, the ability to manage large groups of people. In a way, he was saying we need to be choosing our leaders more from areas like politics or business or places where the person has had an enormous influence and is still maintaining that influence and is managing people and has had much wider impact. Now, as I said, I was planning on getting there, but I thought, given that a student has said this in his discussion post, I always like to proceed in what I teach organically from what the students are bringing in. Then I kind of skate with the class or dance with the class, if you will. To me, teaching is a very artistic, creative form. So I love those images of dance and skate, move with the class. So I thought about today's class, and I thought about the leader we could bring, and I thought, I'm going to put Bob Marley aside for a moment. A student did say in his discussion post and asked, are we going to be going into detail about Bob Marley's life and really look at, what exactly he can teach us about the qualities of global leadership. That was a good question. And for that student, I'm going to say no, right now we're not. We might later. But for now, we're going to move on from Bob Marley, who was chosen. And I'm going to tell you about somebody really, really important to your lives today. So, now that I have your attention, I need a note taker over there. Kirsten is doing some notes here, but we need to put some critical points up over there. And I'll let Kirsten continue to take some good notes there, and I can combine them later. But Sasha, could you do us a favor and go back there, start a new card, and we will help you with the notes, okay? So go ahead, all right? And I'm going to have you write a name down there. Make a new card and write down at the beginning, Sir. S-I-R.
Thank you so much for
Okay?
clarifying.
S-I-R. All right, Sir. Now, I think I see a student here today who is a guest, correct? But this is a plugged-in guest. She's with the class and she wants to say something. And so we will always open ourselves to anyone who joins this class for the sake of knowledge, insight, and intellectual growth and leadership. Did you want to say something? Do you think you know who this person is?
Yeah.
Sir?
Sir Keir Starmer or something?
Nope. He's the Prime Minister of England. No, this person is a sir, and he's far more important than Keir Starmer. Well, let me take you kind of closer to what you are dealing with. On your devices, on your laptops, on your machines that you use, you have a thing at your fingertips called the World Wide Web. The World Wide Web. Are any of you aware that the World Wide Web was created by one person? He imagined it. And then he began to lead an international initiative to convince people that we needed it. And now, as a result, all over the world, websites, hypertext, all the content on your computers, all the content on the superhighway of the internet is a result of what he did. He's brilliant. And he's also a leader in a very interesting way. What is his name? Tim Berners-Lee. Sir Tim Berners-Lee. T-I-M-B-E-R-N-E-R-S-L-E-E. Sir Tim Berners-Lee. Now, let me just see for a moment. This is really easy today because I don't have to go online and check with the cosmos at the same time. So we'll just do it old-fashioned. I'm just here with all of you. I don't have to worry. Just raise a hand if you have heard of this person. And let's see. Sort of. This motivated friend of the other motivated guest, tell us what you know about Tim Berners-Lee.
Well, pretty much what you said.
Sir Tim Berners-Lee invented the World Wide Web.
And something with like to do with like CERN.
Yes, I'm going to get to that in a moment. CERN, the Center for Nuclear Research in Geneva, Switzerland, which has the biggest machine in the world. It's called the Hadron Collider, and I'll tell you all about that too. That's where he got his idea and was inspired. Yes. Not the internet, the World Wide Web, Sasha. I'm going to help you to understand. Global leadership is ultimately going to be about the impact that you have on the world. Your world may consist of your dormitory, your street, your house with your family. It's your world. Or, as we know today, your world also consists of a huge planet-wide global world today, and that's what we're really here to study, is those individuals who have that kind of impact on the whole world. But they may have started like you, and you may already be having impact. But you want to know how they got there. You want to know what they did. You want to know what kinds of qualities they've demonstrated. So I thought to really begin the critical part of this semester's classes when we start to really delve deeper into our examples. And we will get there with Bob Marley, for sure. Who better than Sir Tim Berners-Lee? What an amazing person he is. And he's not who you think he is in terms of a leader. I think you're going to like this in terms of what he brings to this whole idea of global leadership. So I am thrilled to know that none of you had ever heard of his name except for our guest. And that means you have something to learn today, something very, very important to learn. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lecture off my toes with nothing behind me, nothing that I had planned, just here with all of you, speaking to you for maybe 15, 20 minutes or so, a little bit old-fashioned. The professor standing in front of all of you just talking. But you need to know some things. Then we're going to get together into teams, and we're going to learn more about the qualities that Tim Berners-Lee brings to global leadership. But first, I need to tell you a bit of his story and what he did. Before I do that, does anybody have any questions? Everybody feel they are all on board? This spacecraft is in orbit right now. We are moving in a very kind of low-tech way, but we're moving. Well, let me just explain one thing before I begin explaining his life. We are living at a time that is very historic in that the human being is learning how to be a digital creature at the same time. You have all grown up in the early part of the third millennium, the 2000s, the 21st century, at a time when technology is transforming our lives in a way it never has. And when we look at technology, we look at the internet as a kind of dividing line. And many people say today that there was a world before the internet and there was a world after the internet. I have lived on the transition of that. I grew up during the 1970s and 80s when the world was moving in that direction, but there was no internet. There was no mobile phone yet. There was no personal computer yet. There was no World Wide Web yet. And then all of these changes began to happen very quickly, and I've had to adapt. I will make reference to the world before the internet and the World Wide Web and afterwards sometime today, but mostly I'm going to talk about the world as it is. And I'm going to talk about Tim Berners-Lee and what he did in the 1980s that has been transformative. Before Sir Tim Berners-Lee went to university, he grew up in a small town not far from London in England. And he grew up in a home with parents who were computer scientists. And they instilled in him a real love and fascination with technology and computers and mathematics. Because math, calculations, and algorithms are the language of computers and computer science. So in order for you to understand how to change what is on a computer, you need to understand its language. Those are algorithms, and you know that. But Tim Berners-Lee, as he was growing up among 4 siblings, was a bit of a nerd. As a matter of fact, he describes himself as he was growing up as a kind of an introvert, a bit awkward. If you saw him today speaking, and he's all over the internet, you will immediately see a person who has trouble expressing himself. He's just published a book this month called This Is for Everyone. The untold story, I think I've got the title right, of what we still need to do with the World Wide Web. In this book, he doesn't talk about his personal challenges at all. But it's obvious to anybody that if you look at him being interviewed, thank you very much, I would even suggest that he probably has some sort of condition that we might call a mental condition today, some sort of disability, something like that. Who cares? In fact, often those disabilities become your superpower as we're learning. Many brilliant people and many people who have changed the world and continue to also are on a very fine line between brilliance and sort of madness. They have a way to take their own challenges and transform them into something for humanity. I think that's what he's done. But he's never talked about it. Just watch an interview with him, watch him speak, do anything, and you will see there is an awkwardness there that clearly is something. As he was growing up, he was very curious, very inventive. He eventually got into a top university. Education was very important to him. And he developed his interest in software engineering, physics, computer science, and then he got a great opportunity. He went to work at an advanced accelerated particle laboratory. It's called the Center for Nuclear Research in Geneva, Switzerland. That is where the world's biggest machine, created by all of humanity, by many different people from many different countries, is actually situated. And it's there that there is this incredible 27-kilometer loop underneath the ground between the countries bordering there. And it is about 300 meters underground, and it's there that scientists from around the world accelerate subatomic particles that make up matter, the constituents of matter, protons and neutrons and electrons. They're accelerated at practically the speed of light, and they crash into each other in this loop. And it's there through this collision that humanity is learning about what is matter. What exactly is all of this stuff that has come into the universe? It's called matter, not mass. Tim Berners-Lee was given the job at the time in the 1980s of figuring out how do we take all of those computers that all of these scientists have at this laboratory and sort of give those computers a common language. At that point, there was the internet. There was the highway, if you will, this incredible system in which humanity had figured out how to sort of connect computers, individual computers. But everybody's computer was running on different programs. People could not share data, videos, images, text, websites. The language was very undeveloped. And he said, all the scientists here need a way of connecting all of these computers at this laboratory so they can speak a common language. They all speak different languages here. They all have different information. We need to create a web. As a matter of fact, he said, need to create the program that will allow people to share information and create what's called, and this was the first time it was ever used, a website. He created the world's first website. And he went to his superiors at CERN, the Center for Nuclear Research, And he said to them, we need to implement this system here so that all the scientists here can be sharing information with each other in a way where it's all accessible and easy for them to access. In other words, what he was doing, he was putting the cars on the highway. He was saying, we have the highway. We have this amazing 407. But where are all the cars? All the different cars. We need to put them on there. We need to get traffic on there, moving, people sharing information, communicating with each other in ways they never have. We need to create the World Wide Web. Now, let me just stop for a second and make sure this is all making sense. It's a fantastic story of creativity and invention, but it goes further than this. This is not just about an entrepreneur, a person who had vision. That is number one for a global leader. Vision. Could you please put that on there? I have said this again and again, and I will say it again and again. Leadership, true leadership, is not just about managing people, organizing things. If you want to lead, you need imagination, you need vision, you need to see something that others haven't, and then you need to be prepared to go and fight for it. Well, his superior at CERN wrote on his first proposal for the World Wide Web to be implemented at CERN. This is before anyone even has talked about this in the rest of the world. His superior said, vague idea, but exciting. This is famous. Berners-Lee has spoken about this again and again in his interviews. And he'll even show you the page of his proposal. Vague, but exciting. Imagine if you had an idea. You wanted to do something, and you took it to a person who can help you with it, and they wrote vague but exciting. This would be a moment where you might go, you would have a gut check. Do I believe the vague part and kind of lose interest in this because a person above me has said it's not quite ready? Or do I look at the exciting part and go, well, maybe there's something here. I got to do something about this. That's where you do your gut check as an individual, as an emerging leader. Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe in the idea that you have? Are you ready now to go and sell that idea? Convince people of that idea. Make them believe so they will come onto your team. I can't resist going back a little bit in history here to help you with this next step about getting people on board. After vision comes this other quality. Can you communicate your vision to others to help them see what you want so they will support you? Well, I'll just give you a tiny little historical example that is quite interesting. All of you know the name Christopher Columbus. He is the European who, in 1492, figured out how to cross the Atlantic Ocean and discovered America, which is not really that true. We won't get into his story, Christopher Columbus. But do you know that Christopher Columbus had an idea in the 1490s and people didn't believe him? He said, I know that the world is not flat. A lot of people knew that then. And if I go across this ocean here, I'm going to come to India and China, and I'm going to bring back all sorts of things for Europeans. He spent years going from one government to another, the Spanish, the French, and other royal households, trying to raise money for his mission. And eventually he got 3 little ships. He crossed the ocean. He came to a body of land he never thought he would see, which was not India or China, but turned out to be America. And the rest is history. People didn't believe him. He had to go and raise money. He had to convince people that this was a worthy mission. Well, that's what Tim Berners-Lee did at CERN. In his awkwardness, in his almost inability to communicate, as you will see, just listen to him speak. His mind jumps all over the place. He communicated authenticity. He communicated passion. He communicated something genuine. And he made people begin to see that the world might just need this idea, more than just the scientists here. And eventually he got support. Eventually he built the world's first website. He started to help others build their own websites. He figured out how to hypertext from one place to another. This was the brilliance. He said, if I take the internet, which is all computers are connected, but I give the internet a common language, HTML, HTTP, hypertext, then I will be able to give humanity the ability to share information in a way it never has. Now, I'm going to sort of conclude this little lecture by a critical decision that he faced, because this is the most important part. There's a reason why you have not heard of his name, except for the student who's left. So now, nobody knew who Tim Berners-Lee was until I said his name to you. And you know why? He doesn't seek attention the way a lot of people do today. He didn't want to make a lot of money. He could have easily monetized that idea. This is what people do today. When you have an idea in our capitalist world, which is based on a system of, for better or for worse, if you have something you want to lead and do, then maybe you can make a ton of money from it. And this is what most people think. And let's look at the most striking, I would say obnoxious, but brilliant example of this, and that is Elon Musk. Very different individual from Tim Berners-Lee. Tim Berners-Lee, who was born in the same year as Stephen Jobs, the inventor of the Apple computer, and Bill Gates, who you know as well. Elon Musk is a leader, no question. He's a global leader of the first order. But Elon Musk follows a different model of leadership than Sir Tim Berners-Lee. Elon Musk's view is, when I create something and when I lead something, it's for me. And I will make as much money as I want. I will do everything I can with that money, and I will give that money out if I feel it's important, but it's for me. And nobody should stop me from making all of that money. Because when I invent something and when I lead something, it's going to be good for humanity. So therefore, let me profit from that. Let me be free to become as rich as I want. This is the Donald Trump, Elon Musk, United States world model of leadership. Not for Tim Berners-Lee. He decided, no, I don't want to monetize this. I don't want to make a lot of money. Think about this. Think about this decision. I guarantee you that if you look into yourselves as emerging leaders or think about global leadership, and you come to a point where you have an idea, and now the idea is getting support, and now people are gathering around you, and you're beginning to lead this team, and I will tell you about his team in a moment. I'm sure you would want to make a lot of money. He wanted more than that. He recognized that in his technical engineering brilliance, in what he had come up with, this would be good for humanity. And he was right. And he decided to share that knowledge freely to ensure that all of us can now jump onto the World Wide Web superhighway. And every single one of us, at almost every moment of the day, is using the World Wide Web to get information, to share information. YouTube came after. YouTube was also using the same kind of algorithms that he had invented, but adapting it. Instagram, Facebook, Meta, all the social media comes afterwards. They could not have become what they are without Tim Berners-Lee creating the technology to make that happen. The internet just would have remained this incredible, powerful way of linking computers, but with no language. He gave humanity the ability to speak and create together, and this is his vision of what he wants humanity to do with what he has created. He wants all of us to benefit from what he has created. Thank you, Sir Tim Berners-Lee, for doing that. As a matter of fact, the final thing I'd like you to write down, World Wide Web Consortium.
You're gonna have to spell it out.
World Wide Web, and then consortium, C-O-N, that's WC3. You know, excellent. What's your name? Matthew. Way to go, Matthew. Worldwide WC3 Consortium. 3C. WC3. Three. Sorry, help me again, Matthew.
W3C.
Yeah, W3C. So World Wide Web Consortium, just spell that, and then we'll give the short form, okay? Consortium, S-O-R-T-I-U-M, equals WWW, or W3C.
How many W's?
3. Just put W3, remove one W, put 3, and C, the letter C. There you go.
Yeah, I won't take notes again.
He created, this is the leadership part too that's very important. After he had generated so much belief and interest from the rest of the world in his idea, and as the World Wide Web began to grow and people began to create websites all over the place and began to blog with each other, there were no blogs yet. He gave all of us the ability to do this. Instead of, again, trying to monetize that and patent it, make a lot of money, that's the Elon Musk model, he created the World Wide Web Consortium, W3C. And what is the World Wide Web Consortium? It is the place where he assembled his team of young engineers and technologists and others. And from the 1990s up until very recently, he was the leader of this organization. And what did this organization do? Well, apart from winning all sorts of awards for its work consisted of making sure that he could bring together big companies, large companies, individuals, and sit them around a table and make sure that they would use his language. That the Hewlett-Packard, for example, big American company, or a mining company, or a transportation company, all the big businesses in the world that were starting to go onto the World Wide Web, creating websites, they couldn't just use their own language. They had to use the common language, his. So in order to do that, in order to help them do that, he created this consortium where he brings people together to make sure it's almost like he's their English teacher or their teacher of language. He's their instructor on how to use this new language to ensure that everybody's speaking it. Does that make sense? So what we have is an example of somebody who I think is perhaps the most important global leader that you may hear of this semester, but there will be others. Think of the impact, but then what I want you to think about as we conclude, before we get into teams, I want you to think about how one person, one awkward person, one self-described shy, introverted person who creates something and believes in something and believes it's good for humanity or the world and has the doggedness or the perseverance to stick with it can actually achieve quite a bit. I'd like you to think about yourselves in this context. I'd like you to think about what might be the lesson for you sitting here at Durham College in 2025, studying, learning. What might be the lessons from the story of Tim Berners-Lee that is meaningful for you? And here's what I'd like you to do in your teams. Okay? Excellent. I'm going to give you some instruction, then we're going to do a few more notes, and then we're going to get into the teams. Could you write down this question, please? This will be the question for the activity, okay? And just keep doing beautiful. A little dot and nice and organized question for teams.
Same on the same slide or a new slide?
Same slide. Yep. Same slide. What is the meaning of Tim Berners-Lee's leadership for you? What is the meaning of this? You have listened to me, in a way, give you a very introductory overview.
I'm blank. So sorry.
What is the meaning of Tim Berners-Lee, Tim Berners-Lee's global leadership? We'll call it global leadership. What is the meaning of his Tim Berners-Lee's apostrophe S? Yeah, global leadership for you. What is the meaning? This is something that I'm going to have you do together in teams of, we'll do teams of 4 or 3 in a moment, okay? What is the meaning of Tim Berners-Lee's global leadership for you? And then we're going to make some notes together afterwards when we take this up. But I'm going to let you work on this for 15 or 20 minutes. And remember, when you do your research online, well, you could thank Tim Berners-Lee for making that happen, because you would never be able to go online onto your phones, onto your laptops, and access all of this information. He created websites. He created the URL. He created web servers. The idea of all of those things came out of his mind. Let's get the content on the superhighway. Let's put it somewhere. We call that a server. Let's figure out a way to get all that information onto your computer. That's called a URL. Let's create the stuff together that we want to share with the world. That's your website or your blog. He saw that. He made it happen. He made it happen. That is so critical. So, please keep that in mind when you start looking at his background. You can go to his W3C website. You can see the team that he has at his consortium. He's all over the internet. He won, by the way, the Alan Turing Prize. Do any of you know the name Alan Turing? Alan Turing is another great British inventor who essentially created computers, modern computers. What's the movie based on his life with the great British actor? The Enigma. Enigma, right? The Enigma. He broke the code. Alan Turing was the British computer scientist who broke the German secret code in World War II that allowed Britain and Canada and the United States and the Allies to figure out what Hitler was saying privately. And as a result of that and many others, we won the war. It's a remarkable story, Alan Turing, and there's now a prize in his name every year that's given out to the most important person in computer science. It's sometimes called the Nobel Prize for Computing. Tim Berners-Lee has won that. Great. Okay. Before you go into your teams, Sasha's been doing some good work, some nice, clear writing. I'd love to see it up there, but can't get it up there today, but at least we'll save it. Let's just write down a few points before you start to have a conversation with your team members of what its meaning is for you. What's sticking with you right now about Tim Berners-Lee, a global leader that you had never heard of until today? So let's just get a few critical points down, and then you'll really have a chance to work on this. What should Sasha write as her first note about this remarkable global leader? I want you to use your remarkable brain power. Sasha, go ahead. Sasha's going to write the first one. What do you want to write?
There was something that really stuck with me,
Go for it.
and it's only because I've watched Young Sheldon about like 20 times.
You've watched
Young Sheldon.
Young Sheldon, yeah, right.
Something about subatomic particles or something like that.
That's CERN, subatomic particles. Yeah. Do you want me? What would you like to know? Because I love talking about this stuff too.
Isn't like, I don't know, talking about gravitons, like the gravitons of massless string or something like that. Like
That's string theory. Yeah, that's another.
Yeah.
Yes, go on. Go on.
Center for something. Where was that?
The Center for Nuclear Research in Geneva, Switzerland. It's called CERN. CERN. CERN.
New slide or same slide?
Same one. Yeah, just keep doing your nice bullet points. These are Sasha's slides. Sasha's bullet points. Okay, and then we'll have some notes as well. Excuse me, from Kirsten.
Is it Center for or Center?
Center for Nuclear Research. I think they've changed the organization for nuclear, but that's okay. Center for Nuclear Research in Switzerland. Center for Nuclear. Here's a nice little fact for you. I know this because I teach world history and. Good. Is it Mutader? Yeah. Good. Nuclear. Good. Keep going. Keep going. This is good. Human helping human. Just up the road, a couple 100 kilometers from CERN, Geneva, there's a town called Bern, Switzerland. You know what makes Bern famous?
It's close to CERN.
It's close to CERN, but
Was it named after Bern?
more than 100 years ago, before there was Sir Tim Berners-Lee, before there was Alan Turing, there was Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein lived in Bern, and it was there when he was just in his 20s that he wrote some of his most important papers around physics, around how gravity works and how the universe is formed. So Albert Einstein lived there. Albert Einstein, very close to CERN. You're talking about a concentration of brilliant scientific minds in that part of the world. That's just a little bit of fun information. I need to stop because there's so much I can tell you in response to CERN and what they do there, but it's important that you work together. And I want to hear from you now something that global leaders do. You're going to be a global thinker right now. You've just heard the big global thing. An individual who had the imagination to think about the whole world. Now you're going to make it very local. You're going to come right back to you, yourself, here. What's the meaning of it for you sitting in this room as an individual? That's global. Big and then small. Make sense? Kirsten.
I have a quality we can add to our list, which I also have saved.
Let's get it. Yep.
Perseverance.
Perseverance. Absolutely.
That's what I was listening to.
Perseverance. Can you spell it for Mutader?
I was gonna try.
Go ahead, okay? All right. Excellent. First,
V, I think.
V-E-R. You got it. Keep going. A-N-C-E.
Oh, there you go.
Perseverance.
Yeah.
Way to go.
I would put a C there, so you didn't know what it
All right, I'm going to stop and give you a chance to really work on this together. And so here we go. Okay, so Sasha, leave that there for now. Come back so you can join your team. I will take care of that over there. Make sure we have now, we'll do A, B, C, and D. 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 A, B, C. So all A's, please make your little nucleus somewhere. All A's, all B's, please make your little nucleus. You're A, I think you are? Yeah. If you are,
over here.
all C's and all D's come together. And let's get this going. A, B, C, D. We need to do our A, B, C's, okay?
D.
D. Okay, let me get some heat or cold in here. A, B, C, D. Okay, so you can go anywhere you like in the room, okay? To form your little team, okay? A somewhere, B, C's, and D's. You can go there if you want, okay? And D. D? We've got some brain power here. We got Rhea, Emmanuel, and then great. Got some power there. Okay, so I would like you in the next 10 or 15 minutes using the World Wide Web. Remember, the World Wide Web is right at your fingertips. Thank you, Tim Berners-Lee. Have a discussion and identify its meaning for you as an individual. And we're going to make some notes, okay? So we have a team over there. Let's put one more. Would you join them, please? Yeah, okay. And why don't we say this is a group here and this is a group here, okay?
Yeah, they're
Good.
really close.
Yeah, okay. So, okay, well, come on in. Okay, join. Here comes our freelancer, Mr. Freelance. Who needs you? We have our freelancer who's come in. Yes, they will tell you what this is about. Could you please join that group? Okay, great. And go over there. Could you join that group? Yeah, good. Nice. I want to make sure we're represented, male and female. Nice. Okay.
I'm D, so
That's okay. Now we're kind of being a little improvised. It's okay. As long as go there for now. Yeah, I'm gonna help you. It's I need to still direct this to make sure. So now you are an A or a B or something like that. Go ahead. What is its meaning? That story I told you for you. For you. And now I'm going to come back here and I'm going to talk for a moment to all of you. So, there is a team activity taking place right now. But I'd like you as well to do the same thing. You could do your fourth or fifth discussion post on this. You could do even your final assignment, the end of the semester, perhaps. You will see. But the example of Tim Berners-Lee and the global leadership that he has demonstrated in so many ways, including the decision that he made. What a decision. You know what that decision is. It will resonate and speak through history. He had that choice, as you will have. The choice of profit over purpose. What I want you to do is think about what he did, how he did it, and then make a few notes. And then when the recording is done, go to the discussion post, the fifth discussion board. Create a question based on what I've just said, and then the reason. The question could be, what exactly is the relevance of Sir Tim Berners-Lee's example for me, just me? And then provide the reason for asking that. Let's see your global thinking on display, your understanding of the global issue here, the global leadership that Sir Tim Berners-Lee demonstrated, and then its impact on the individual. You are an individual. I would like you to think about that. Okay? So I'm going to just bring this back here, and what I'm going to do is you will hear, you can see your classmates all working together. Okay, I'm going to go over to the board. Where is it? Yeah, I want to just help with Sasha's notes a little bit. Okay, but they're good for now. And let's see.
$2,000 license back. And now basically the entire whole wide web runs on it.
find it.
He wasn't trying to
Is it okay?
take people's ideas too. He was trying to just. Yeah, he was trying to incorporate everyone else's ideas into it. Yeah, it's like a whole web. It's like a chain all in motion instead of like again just dissolve. Yeah, like it was about amplifying. Yeah, for just making it just yeah.
Let's talk more about like what it means to like us right now. Currently, like most what he's saying. Were you gonna get to that? Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry. Go ahead.
So I've just written on the board, as you can see. We're going to take this up momentarily. What Sir Tim Berners-Lee means to me as an individual, and what you're going to hear from everyone here is an overview of how they see him in terms of their own lives and his example as a global leader. How can they use that knowledge in their own life? We learn about global leaders in this class. Each week we try and explore the case studies and ones that we select and I select, and we look at their qualities. And then ultimately, it's important that we take that knowledge and we make it active. It's not just knowledge, but you've got to put it into your life. And this is the critical part now. Okay, and in a way, it's a kind of dimension of the local thinking I've been trying to help you with this semester. Thinking planet-wide, but also thinking in a very local way, in a very specific way to your life and to the lives of others in your immediate community. That's what we're going to do now, okay? Keep going another 5 minutes or so, okay? And then we're going to get a few points. Now, let me just see if... okay, good. The recording is still going. Everything is working there. And... okay, I'm not going to touch anything.
To me, I feel like an introvert just energizes when they're on their own rather than even when it's on your own. Like yeah, and being introvert and shy are two different things.
Open source
You
is
can be an
teaching.
introvert and not be shy.
Sam.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I guess I'm kind of alluding to the fact that he probably well, he definitely sounds like this.
Websites, because that's the world of ours, right? He created websites. Right? So talk more about the websites.
You can even say like his difficulty, but like creating something that centralizes knowledge into like he struggles communicating, but in English, yeah, in English, yeah, like that. A whole other language, so you could communicate exactly. And I also feel like that could be something that
Okay, 2 minutes.
like
It has been said that his invention, what he saw, the vision he had, perhaps is the most important invention of the 20th century. And maybe history will tell us it's one of the most important inventions of the modern world. All of that, all of what we do every day in the way we share information with the rest of the world, data, text, images, videos, everything, is because of what he began to see in his imagination while he was working at CERN in the 1990s. Sorry, the 1980s. 1980s. Okay, 1 minute. Then we're going to get some critical points up. Basically, everyone could use HTML as a document format and share it and support all languages. But there is Word, Flash, they're all proprietary. You can buy the software from that company to generate it. Anyone can make an EPUB because EPUB's an open standard. And it's an open standard built on an open standard of HTML and CSS.
Like how will we encompass everything? Just say the ones you need. Okay. Otherwise, there's a lot of things. No, that's okay.
There's a great moment, if you would like to see, of Tim Berners-Lee at the Olympics in London a few years ago at the opening ceremonies. Go ahead and Google on YouTube, "This is for everyone," and you will see a wonderful moment where he appeared at the opening ceremonies. Okay, 30 seconds. No, I want you to think about what he means to you. But that's okay, as long as you can. Yeah, good. Oh, it is. CERN is an amazing place. Okay, can you go back to the board? We still need you. Okay, we're going to do this together. Stay in your teams, okay? We're going to take this up together. We will conclude. Sasha will get back on the notes. And let's see. There we go. Okay, everybody, we're going to take this up. We just have a few minutes left. We will start with this. And I want to remind you that Bob Marley is still there in our pantheon of leaders, and we will bring him back. But we're creating a kind of pantheon or stable of leaders this semester that we're going to learn from week to week. I want to point your attention to the board right now where Sasha is, and we're going to do a few notes together. And just look at the side I've just written as well. Your discussion post, the fifth one, of course, follows today's class for next week. And you have your first assignment that's due later. That's posted as well for you. You're going to have to reflect on 3 qualities of a global leader and why those qualities are important. So that's been posted as well. But let's do this together, okay? We just have a few minutes left. What we want to do is go from team to team. We do one team and then another, and we'll just put a couple of points up there and figure out what's really critical. So first, let's start with the team next to Sasha. Could one of you there, maybe it could be Matthew or Muntada, Kirsten, or anybody else, put up a note for Sasha on what Tim Berners-Lee and his story and his leadership means to you as an individual now. Let's see. What could Sasha write that's important?
That he believed in accessibility for everybody.
Lovely. Accessibility for love. Accessibility, so critical. Mutada, you want to help her with the... If you want to have a little fun right now while they're writing this, just go to YouTube on your phone right now and just enter "This is for everyone," Tim Berners-Lee. I was planning on putting that up on the board. It's a minute and a half of him at the opening ceremonies of the London Olympics a few years ago. Tim Berners-Lee, where he literally is in the center stage in front of thousands and thousands of people gathered in London, and he's writing on a computer, "This is for everyone." And then "This is for everyone" appears lit up across the people in the night sitting. You see "This is for everyone" written across all the people sitting in the stadium in huge lights. This is for everyone. So that is so important. Access up. And that instead of an A, it's an E. Oh, sorry, it's an I. Okay, so just remove the A there and put an I. Accessibility. Believed in accessibility. Think about Elon Musk again. Yes, the Tesla vehicle is accessible, but you got to pay for it. You got to pay for that huge boat that he's created that you see on the highway. It looks like some kind of military thing, you know? You got to pay for the satellites he's created. You got to pay for it. And then it goes in his pocket. Nope. Accessibility. Excellent. Okay, over here, meaning for you, Tim Berners-Lee, what should we put there? Selflessness. Selflessness. Of course he wants attention, he wants to be respected, he wants to be known, but ultimately he is doing something that great leaders do, which is they see that the people that they are leading, they serve. The people don't serve them. Try to put that idea to work in your life. When you're in a position of leadership, are you expecting your team to serve you, or are you there to serve them? Lovely. Selflessness. 3. Over here.
He believed that the website should be like, I would say like, it would to grow in teamwork, not competition.
Teamwork.
Yeah.
Collaboration. We call it collaboration. That's why we're here. This is the Center for Collaborative Education right here. He is truly a human in the most fundamental sense. You know what humans love? They love to learn. Now, there are a lot of men here who think the alpha male. You're under this sort of cliche. I don't know where you get it from, but the alpha male, the man, he dominates. He wants power. He wants control. That's one aspect of the human being. You go deep into the human creature and what has made us so great on this planet. It's not about domination. It's about we want to just keep learning, and we just got so curious. We want to know what's out there. We want to go further. And then we want to work with others, generally speaking. Not always, but the most important is we love to learn. And Tim Berners-Lee recognized that. He said, let everybody learn. Do you know the name Aaron Swartz? Anybody know the name Aaron Swartz, the founder of Reddit? The young, brilliant computer scientist and engineer who committed suicide in New York because of what he faced from the rest of the world. It's a long story, but at his funeral, Tim Berners-Lee spoke at Aaron Swartz's funeral. Aaron Swartz believed that all information should be available to everybody. Everybody. And that's what Tim Berners-Lee was doing. Let's get it out there. Let us all share. Collaboration. So that's excellent. Number 4, yes.
And I believe he was kind of passionate.
Of course, the passion. You can't. Passion is your fuel. If you're going to lead, you've got it. And then finally, and then we're going to conclude here.
He was forward thinking.
Forward thinking, for sure. I'll just speak to this final point and then we'll conclude. Okay? Forward thinking. Many of us face a kind of dilemma in our lives as humans and as leaders, but ultimately as humans. Do we look backwards or do we look forwards? In the course of a day, There's a lot of things that we have that have happened to us. That's history. That's behind you. That's the rearview mirror. You could, if you choose, spend most of your time with your eyes on the rearview mirror, thinking about what happened to you, struggling with your memories, feeling like the world has passed you by, maybe that you've been taken advantage of, you've been bullied, abused, exploited, not understood, and your memories just keep coming at you. And you're always looking backwards. This is what happened to me. This is what happened to the world. Isn't it terrible? And it becomes a dead weight, pulling you, slowing you down. And then one day you decide, maybe one day or over several days, I think I'm going to look forward. I think that all those bridges that got me across this river, I'm going to let them all burn and fall into the river. I don't care how I got here. I'm here now. I'm on the other side. I got here. Now I'm going to look forwards. I'm going to spend more of my time looking at what is coming than what happened. I don't care anymore how I got here. I'm here. Now I want to go forwards. Well, a leader definitely is always looking forwards. It has been said about a good leader that a leader is always 2, maybe 3 beats ahead of everyone else. It's like chess. You're thinking ahead and you're bringing people along with you. In his awkwardness, his brilliance, his forward mind, his imagination, he changed the world for better. So forward thinking is really important. Use your imagination. When you walk out of here today, please try not to dwell on your memories. Think about the imagination and what it's trying to tell you about the future, and go into it and take others with you, and you will be a good leader. Anyways, I'm going to conclude on that. Thank you very much, Sasha. That's great. I will save them, not to worry. Kirsten, yes.
Strike update.
What's that?
Strike update.
Thank you. Strike update is this. I have it direct from the picket line this morning. I went over there and spoke to some colleagues, brought them a few apples. Apparently, the two sides, the College Employers Council and the union, have set up a time to meet on Friday. They now are in mediation. There is an official provincial mediator who is bringing them together. The sides are very far apart. It's not good. They have not been able to come to an agreement on their own. So now the government has stepped in and said, we will give you a mediator and help you. And that mediator is now working with them and will bring them together on Friday. It's a tough fight right now. Yes?
Is it only Durham College in strike?
No, all the colleges in Ontario, 24 of them. All across the province are on strike. Oh yeah,
Seneca,
absolutely. Seneca, Sheridan, George Brown in Toronto.
Georgian
College.
Aurelia
Closed.
Because the schools
24
were so bad.
colleges. Oh yeah, it's a big...
That's not close here, I'll get my money back.
Emmanuel, question?
I just wanted to say, I'm not trying to be selfish,
Yeah.
but he is an international student.
Yeah.
For example, like in my course, I'm doing a systems development,
Yes.
and there is software that we need to use. All right. Now, if you at Durham College, there's a place where we get software.
Yes.
It's not there, and we cannot access it, and we cannot do our.
Well, I'm going to give you a little
all
advice.
these things.
Okay.
Now we have to find weaker software, and we're failing. And I'm
Here's-
paying a lot of.
I know. It will end, Emmanuel. It will end. Here's the smart thing to do. You have no control right now over the strike, Emmanuel, unless you organize a group of students to but what you can do is when you walk out today, tap into your imagination and go, never let a good crisis go to waste. These are the famous famous words of an American president during the Second World War. There is a crisis happening out there now. It's affecting you. It's messing up your life. So how can you turn that into an opportunity for yourself? That's leadership.
Emmanuel,
Go for it.
my
Use
sister
your imagination and figure out how to do that, Emmanuel.
wasn't
We'll
involved
talk
in
next week.
university. She can't
Okay?
even get onto campus. She's been late for so many
See you next week, everybody. I'll be back in person. We'll continue.
Thank you, boss.
Thank you
I'm
very
sorry I
much,
came
as
late.
always.
I'm gonna try to
Okay,
get
yeah,
here early.
good. You get here on time, okay?
I
Good.
emailed you the notes.
What's that?
I emailed you the notes. You're welcome.
Because they have agreed to leave, but they haven't solved the problem, so they're still keeping on. When we protest, stronger we become, the more the college that they must compromise because there's so much support.
That I understand, but when it's starting to affect our learning, that's where I have a problem. Like, there was 20 students in my pharmacology class that were late for a test and didn't do a rewrite because they couldn't get through. I mean, like, I want a happy medium. That's all I want.
I'll tell you, let me put it, every faculty member right now.
I know they don't want to be there.
But the reason I'm here in person today is in part because of what you just said. I realize that my support for those strikers right now has meant that I can do classes from home. It's not good enough for every person. So I have to
Take a stand without tech. Yeah.
You can. So, but the issues here are really deep, and you can guarantee that in terms of my classes, your education will not suffer.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, I feel that because
Yeah,
you've always
okay,
made
yeah,
accommodations.
yeah.
Like I was saying to Emmanuel too, my sister, she goes to the university,
Yes.
right? Her parking spot is in Southway. So she can't get through
Yeah.
and has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like she's getting frustrated too. Like she's had to leave because she's been stuck in the line and she's like, okay, well I guess I'm going online because
Well, I'll tell you, in some strikes that have taken place in academic institutions in the world, students have organized and done their own protest saying this has to end. And that kind of protest can actually help to bring the sides together too.
there was talk. She was telling me the other day there was a student going around with a protest.
Yes.
Like a petition,
Yeah.
saying that they should be able to flash their university ID and go past the people. And people are signing it.
Okay. So that's the beginning person. Let's see what happens. But anyways, I'm going to be here in person for the rest of the semester.
Okay.
Continue to do what I do. Hopefully I can get this working. But in the end, it doesn't really matter. What matters is the interaction we have.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Okay? Great. See you next week. Okay? How are you doing? Good. Yes.
I just want to say, like,
Let me just shut this, okay? Okay, everybody, I'm going to sign out from here. See you next week.